Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we're finally back. We're back to a full schedule. Markets are open for most of this week. The markets are closed for January 9th. President Carter died. He was an old one. I'm awkward when it comes to that, but he made it. He had a good run, right? So markets are closed 9th in honor of him. But we will we're going to break down the market in general. We will look at the news. We'll talk about the dollar, Bitcoin, the S&P, the NASDAQ, Grandpa Dow, and the Russell. After that, I'll jump into the chat. We'll call out some tickers and we'll break all of those down. But let's first we're gonna rock and roll right here. Looking at the news, just pulling it up to see if we kind of had anything going on this week. PMI tomorrow, and really I'm gonna kind of keep an eye on the red here. PMI tomorrow, balance of trade and jolts probably not gonna do anything. ISM PMI. Let's see. Employment change on Wednesday. FOMC minutes will probably have a little bit of action there on Wednesday. Markets are closed Thursday. So we will have the Fed speaking. Nothing too wild I would be too concerned about, as far as my swings going into that. But just know that you do have some reports, some things going on while the markets are closed. You won't be able to do that. We'll come back Friday. All right, my cursor. There we go. Non-farm payrolls, unemployment. Pretty, I don't know. I said normal week full of excuses. Someone says, how about them Chiefs? Their refs must have been stuck in KC. So we got a hater just because the Chiefs win all the time. The Chiefs aren't even playing. They didn't even show up because they don't care. In fact, they needed this game. Someone just broke this down to me, by the way. I don't have the up to date. They needed Denver to win to kick, I think, Cincinnati out. Anyway, if you weren't paying attention, Chiefs already there. Who do you think is going to go against the Chiefs at the Super Bowl? It's basically the question. All right, so we have the dollar as of right now, kind of a tiny bit open right here. I guess we're just on a bullish run. I really thought we were going to break this thing down, but as of now, we went down, we went sideways, and now we're kind of getting back up again. I am still short the U.S. dollar. It just looks like the Japanese yen is competing with it because right now we're doing nothing. So I'm short the U.S. dollar, Japanese yen. Now, I originally took that trade because I was bearish the U.S. dollar. I just haven't gotten out of it because it's just in one of my zones. I don't stop out in zones. My stop is above this. So until that triggers, I'll still remain short the U.S. dollar. Again, this is a Forex play, so it's the U.S. dollar over the Japanese yen. So watching this go up could be kind of cool, and it could pan out. This is one of those times where if the dollar starts to pull back, and, it lines up, you'll still get this move to the downside. So that trade could still work out. You think this is an up week or a down week in ES? Well, I'm glad you asked because after Bitcoin, we're going to answer just that. As far as Bitcoin goes, it did come roaring back. And by roaring back, we got up to this zone right here. And right now, I almost changed it. And you guys know, maybe if you're new here, I don't like to move zones around or anything unless I am live because we do bounce at these zones a lot. And I don't want somebody to think I drew it after the fact. But I almost wanted to make this yellow and this the blue zone. I'm going to leave them the same way. But if we are looking at Bitcoin in general, let's go with just this. Oh, hang on. That was a very weird. What a stupid indicator. Not indicator. I was trying to draw a parallel channel. I guess we'll just. There we go. I don't know why I didn't use it to begin with. We're highlighting these. What is this? Got some action here. I got a new computer, so there's a lot of stuff I still have to set up. I just want to make that a little bit brighter. All right. So as we're looking right here, Bitcoin very sideways. So I would keep an eye on that. So let's see if we break down, if we break above or below that range. So if you're in MicroStrategy, if you're in Mara, Riot, Hut, any of the Bitcoin tickers, that's what I would be watching right now. As far as that goes, as much as people want to hate this comment, it's still a disposable income kind of trade. So if the markets are red, hate to say it, but I do still think this is one of the first on the chopping block. And of course the Bitcoin Maximus or Maxis, is that what you guys are called? They usually hate that comment, but those people weren't buying, or they're not selling regardless whether it's up or down. So their opinion is irrelevant. What we're worried about is the people that are going to sell. Looking at the S&P, we have a little bit of a gap up, which is good because we need to turn this ship around. I was not expecting how green Friday was. Green, everything was up like it was just a new year, new day. Nothing mattered by it all. We're still very much in this range we had drawn out a while back. Now, again, this is just one red candle down. This is the daily chart. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 trading sessions, 2 full weeks just inside that one day. So there was still that one sell off, and this is all the buyers could do is just kind of hold it. So still remaining in that range. I do think January is a bullish month. The way Friday took off would not surprise me if we were if this was a green week. I'm curious to see, and this is why I would be patient. So tomorrow I would hang out. I would wait. And I say this all the time, let the banks get their coffee before you go making any crazy moves, is because did Friday put us in an overbought situation where there's going to be some profit taking? All that was shorts profit taking, propped it back up, then they pile it back in, we break this thing down. Because that's scenario is very much on the table. So I would hang tight and see. Did we just buy it all up, or are we just waiting to buy and then we're just kind of back on the grind up? Are we just going to sell off at this next zone or possibly this top of the range right here? I'm hanging out. I did go short Tesla. So Tesla should gap up to probably a smooth 500 tomorrow. So shout out to everybody that's long Tesla. You should be rich tomorrow morning. But hanging out. Big man's coming. He says, smart man. I appreciate that. Let's make sure I'm keeping up with all the chats. Is this Doge going? Probably not. We'll see. I do not have the expected moves because this is a new computer, so I have to download everything. So sorry, because usually on Sunday I'm going over the expected moves. I can, however, pull it up on my my phone real quick. Give me one hot second. Error. All right, let's go. We're making important changes, so I can't do it anyway. So anyway, sucks to suck, I guess. If you have my charts, I will have that when it's done. If you guys want my charts or access to it, just check out the Patreon. I got a shout out to my admin on TikTok. I don't know if she's a moderator on YouTube or not. She should be. Her name should be Blue. But Casey has absolutely been killing it. She's been putting that in the top comments down below. So if you want to check it out, should be super easy to find. Let's see. This is the NASDAQ, same story. Now, I went short the NASDAQ because we actually broke that range and went down. It kind of looked like we were going to hold, kind of looked like a fake out scenario, came right back down. And so we were really struggling. And we're going to talk about the NASDAQ for a second here. Also, why there's a couple factors as to why I went short Tesla. This kind of looked like profit taking. How do I come up with the expected moves? I have some friends, and I call them and I say, hey, what's up? What are you doing? Just kidding. I do have a video called Total. It should be something like Total Technical Analysis. And I talk about how you can use the charts to break down things, look at zones, look at the expected moves for the future price action. And if you watch that video, I do just watch the weekly expected moves. I don't really care for the daily or anything like that. Anyway, looking at this, though, we broke down, and then we really sent it down. Now, we came all the way down to here, right back up. Seller still in control, brought it all the way back down. Technically, we sold off, pushed it up, sold off, bounced back to here. So there was clearly a struggle right there. And if we just were to look at the more immediate, that's a downtrend. Now, we had 3 awesome green days in this downtrend. We're actually still inside that range. So I'm not ready to call the NASDAQ just a bullish trend yet. I think this is the signs of a reversal for at least a leg down. I still think we're crashing in March. A leg down does not mean crash, doesn't mean anything. It just means normal everyday activity. So in theory, yeah, there's no in theory. We did break this trend line. A lot of times you'll come on here and we'll talk about a trend line and why it sucks. Because usually we're still making higher lows, and we don't have an example. Sometimes it'll break the trend line, but still be putting in a higher low. What I wouldn't do here is move the trend line to here, because now you're just selling yourself a position. Now I can line it up with these two right here, and all of a sudden things just look peachy. If I were to just do that, oh, we're still for sure trending up. We'll see. If you find yourself doing that, then all you're doing is selling yourself a position. So not to be confused with the times I have moved the trend line, because I'm explaining, hey, that's still a higher low. If it's still a higher low, move it. If it's not, you got to delete it. Posted in YouTube stream chat. Oh, do we have the expected moves? Do I want to give those away? I don't know. Okay, so shout out to Technician. He is one of the members. Sounds like he's going to be there for life. I've yelled at him. He's come a long way. So these are the expected moves. IWM, $4.79. QQQ, $9.87. SPY, we have an $8.45 move. Tesla, we have a 5302 move. Just kidding. 2651. It better be $53 south. We have Meta, 1854. Microsoft, 861. NVIDIA, 731. Amazon, 642. Apple, 571. Google, 520. Ford, 34 cents. Palantir, 472. It's weird seeing that finally calm down. Intel, 96 cents. AMD, 551. XLU, 323. Now remember, guys, this is 323 up or 323 down. This is what market makers have priced in as far as risk goes. This is everybody that has options out there right now. If GME was in here with a $5 move, this is everyone that has their money on the table for whatever reason, because Roaring Kitty posted something. Every reason, both bullish and bearish. This is the literal money on the table right now. This is what market makers are actually looking at to determine if they are at a neutral delta, which is why it's important to me, because I care when the market makers have to step in. How much stock do I put in the expected move? I make a lot of plays off of it. But you have to fully understand the expected move, what it is, why it's there, to understand the plays that I do take. Anytime we're about 1.5 standard deviations, let's say we push 1.5 up. At that point, I'm selling 2 standard deviation call spreads, more than likely. Put spreads the same. Anytime we get to that 1.5 mark, I'm selling the 2 standard deviations for that Friday's expiration. It's just a trade that I take a lot. You win a whole bunch, and then you lose some. But it's the numbers game will pan out. You win that a lot more than you lose. In fact, when I had a trading bot, that's exactly what it was. Now I have to keep my Series 7 to sell you guys that trading bot, which is why I don't have it anymore. But if you're watching this, you wouldn't need to buy it anyway. That was for the people that didn't care, didn't want to touch it. 1.5 standard deviation, it would sell SPY $2 spreads. So anyway, jumping back into the NASDAQ, I don't think this, as we're currently selling off, I don't think we're done. I think the way we sold off, kind of how we're acting, that to me, I think is more of I can't call it rip your face off rally, dead cat bounce kind of thing. Trading money and trading shares are a lot different, isn't it? You talking about Forex? Hang on, this is a Montcari. What are we talking about here? Forex versus shares? Forex and stocks? Are we talking like paper account versus real? All right, Grandpa Dow. Grandpa Dow hanging out in this range. Not too worried until that breaks. When that does break, that's probably your signal as to where we're headed. So let's extend that out. As far as my biases go, man, that is a clean move down, melted down, and then we just went sideways. Every time I see this price action, we call this the Little Dipper. You got to be in my group that is proprietary. I'll explain it once you join. Just kidding. Move down, and all you can get it to do is slow down. Oftentimes, to me, I assume we're going to get that continuation. So If I now I don't have a play on it right now. If I were to take a play, gun to my head, I would be short. I would not worry about going long until we broke above back here. Congrats on Tesla last week. You stood your conviction. Yeah, Tesla was amazing last week. All right. Russell hanging out, still inside that range. I wonder if the NASDAQ's going to lead the way. The NASDAQ is the only one, like, yeah, we're back in that range, but you see what we did here? We broke out of that range, stayed below that range, and someone's just praying, like, please don't do that again. They brought it back in. That's a warning sign. That is walking on a frozen pond and hearing a bunch of cracking noises. You might be fine. Could maybe the ice is just settling. You guys ever seen a loan? That thing ice just cracks. It sounds like thunder. Nothing to worry about because it's 40 inches thick. It could just be 4 inches thick, and you're about to, well, about to not be standing on top of it anymore. Do you put any money into mutual funds that track the S&P? No, I do not. No, there's no point. Oil is ticking up. Now, I did want to bring up oil today because that's just one more sign in recessions. I don't know if I even know the mechanic behind this, other than when we get in a recession, for some reason, oil does just go up. And I really wish I had a better. I'm sure I could find a way to sell it to you guys and explain it. But anyway, it is what it is. It just goes up, and I don't know if that's just lining up with what I think, or if it's just a coincidence. Right now, oil is pushing up. We kind of broke out of this sideways action. And I would expect that to continue. So if anybody is in USO or anything like that, you already broke that range. What's another oil ticker? Gush. Gush still a thing? Haven't traded that one in a while. I would wait for a dip buy and buy that one. Mick Lovin says, sell or hold NVIDIA before the Jensen keynote speech tomorrow at CES. It's a good question. ARS 50.